got a VC valuation of 4x of this year's revenue. But they are growing. I mean, October last year that they got conceived. Okay, so they've been on a very rapid trajectory. Okay. There's another company, very great, accomplished entrepreneurs at concept stage. Great team. They are right now in the process of prototyping. They've got a convertible note at 1x of revenue 3 years out. Another set of a team that's based out of Pittsburgh. These guys have got 50 lakhs at a 2 crore valuation, but in 2 tranches. 10 lakhs, that gets you a certain milestone. Then 20 lakhs, that certain milestone, and then 20 lakhs. If it's a brick and mortar business, so if you're going to be investing in a real land and building, it's a function of real cost, real land. And then someone may give you a premium for what you bring to the table. Right? It's like when Naresh Trehan and his squads combined together. His squads picked up 90% equity, yet 10% return. That was the sweat equity plus salary. Right? But if it's a situation like that, then it's real cost, real numbers, and the premium for what you bring to the table. And most people here get jacked when you try to combine internet valuations to a brick and mortar business. So I'll give you an example of Printo. Printo is an interesting company. They were trying to replicate pin codes in India. Went to 12 stores 2.5–3 years ago. They had a revenue of about 1 crore. They raised $2 million from Sequoia. Sequoia took 30% of the company. At the end of the day, they got internet valuations for a brick and mortar business. The promoters are right now buying Sequoia shares back at 25% of the price. So there was a phase in our economy where brick and mortar businesses were priced at internet.
So we find ourselves in a fairly uncommon scenario in this part of the world, where it's a hardware-oriented tech company, where the amount of capital that is required to take it to commercialization and then build capacity for rapid offtake subsequently is probably in the range of 100 to 300 crores. So this is an early stage technology at a prototype level, large development markets, global possibility of relative global scale. But this is pre-revenue at a prototype stage, looking at raising significant amount of capital in hardware-oriented nature. So, you know, the topic of the conversation today was also like he who holds the ball, who essentially can demonstrate the value. With such early stage startups, pre-revenue, you could of course make some discounted cash flow model, but it's very difficult to generate consensus around it. At the same time, the amount of capital will be raised significantly high, unlike in an IT startup where you can probably go far with $500,000 in that. You also, as you rightly suggested, it's also about finding the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel where the VC investment will come. Right? So there are of course companies which are looking at probably an initial level of investments of $10 to $15 million. So I would like to understand what's been your understanding about that more, you know, this space which is still lesser seen, you where capital investments of 10 to 15 million dollars plus, at the same time, they will remain this whole art and science mix related to the early stage valuation. As you said, you probably are going to lose that amount of company between 20. I heard numbers closer to 20 to 30%, but okay, even if it's that kind of a range. How do you decide against that company? Is the realistic valuation at that point of time $5 million, $20 million? I mean, essentially, it's difficult to force consensus around these kind of things.
So in a clean tech situation, you're developing a product. It's around IP. And what IP do you have? And what is the market opportunity around that IP? Okay. That will define what your valuation will be. Okay. Number two, a $100 million fund will not be the primary investor in your. Okay. It may provide some rounding capital. It will not be even a second investor. Okay. Considering that your appetite is between 20 and 60 million, okay, and that too in the quick ramp-up stage. So there are VCs that specialize in niche markets. Right now, you have clean tech funds as well. They are structured a little differently. Most VC funds are 7 years plus 1 plus 1. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
The life of a fund is for 7 years plus 1 plus 1. So that means necessarily that the fund will dissolve itself after 9 years and give money to the partners who put money. These are funds that will require a longer gestation period. Okay, so typically VCs that specialize in this kind of business are VCs that invest in semiconductor equipment, biotech. Okay, these funds are structured as 11 plus 1 plus 1. Okay.
To allow them a longer gestation period
because the pipe is longer. Right, because you will not even reach revenue 3-4 years out. Right? But a lot of these, so that's why I spent that time.
Well, then the other question is, I completely agree. I think a lot in the fintech space, especially around your intellectual assets and how securitized they are. What is the kind of, what's the kind of market leadership and push ahead that it provides in vis-a-vis other competitors which are investing. Now again, with early stage companies, they fight for IP, but much of their rich IP, which will protect them and will provide for those kind of business interests, are still, because for example in the field of chemistry, if you know, WIPO patents takes 5 to 7 years, depending on the country they are filed in. So we are still talking about, so companies cannot reach till 5 years requiring this kind of a capital and take their trade forward, for most. So we still have that, okay, for example in our case, we have filed for about 4 WIPO patents at this point. But those patents and how they are adjudicated upon will still be about 2 to 3 years ahead. So the thing is that when do you really become seriously fundable? When an assessment on this is a subjective exercise at the same time. And that kind of an appetite differs from VC to VC. Yes. Also in our case, it's compounded with the fact it's a blue ocean market. Right? So this is actually just to speak a technology for conversion of waste plastics to lighter fuel oils. So impressive nonetheless, but a blue ocean market raises people's rattles and so on. And then there are market variables related to how does the crude oil move, what is the price of the related is uncertainty, which has to be built in. So then how do you determine what is, so on a technology front especially, you need to mitigate the technology risk significantly before this kind of a capital can be run. What about the business? What about the execution? How would you define that you think you may be ballpark ready at this point of time if you have done this? Do you have any inputs?
All I can share with you what I've heard on the ground. Clean tech is probably the most promising market, and from an investor the most challenging for him. Okay. There were a lot of clean tech funds that were born 5, 6, 7 years ago. All those clean tech funds are right now negative valuation. And a lot of clean tech focused funds right now are struggling to raise fund 2 and 3. Okay. That's a reality. Okay. A lot of it is a function of how these clean tech funds went to their LPs and presented the facts before them. That said, people are still investing in deep tech. At the end of the day, there are people investing. Irrespective of whatever, people are investing in the team's ability to execute. Okay. So if you are filing for 3 or 4 patents, but don't have a credible team of patent profiling, okay, and you cannot show a pipeline coming in, you may see limited investor interest. Okay, because anyone coming in right now is betting on your patent portfolio. Okay, he's not looking at market risk at right now, उसको तो वो नजर भी नहीं आ रहा है. Secondly, I think spend a lot of time on the marketing thing, because changing habits and changing existing ways of doing things is very difficult. A lot of the networking equipment companies realized it the hard way in the valley. You know that, right? Just getting the incumbent out of the closet is not that easy. Though you may have a faster, quicker, cheaper widget, right? And clean tech suffers from that as well. That said, if that's the journey you want to take, start engaging with conversations now. Okay. Where the risk appetites of people, right now there are lots of funds in India that have to deploy capital. They just have to deploy capital.
Would you recommend moving to an intermediary? Because this capital is also in a different orbit than most of the average entrepreneur has access to. So would you recommend working through some kind of an investment bank or intermediary?
They're right there. See, you got to understand that in the US, the market for venture capital is a little more evolved. You have advisory board members, you have lawyers that are far more connected, and they act as intermediaries, right? And they will come in at a lower cost of capital, because they may take a little warrant, or you've given them a little, it's a part of the helping out strategy and things like that. In India, that market is not as evolved. And yes, it does help to depend on intermediaries. Okay. But you got to also understand, and pardon the intermediaries that are here, that what an intermediary will do is take it and pass an email out to 30 odd people. Okay. And you will get a lot of bites. But again, you will have to come back to doing your own due diligence. And given that the entrepreneurial pressure in India is much higher than in a VC here is being chased by more number of people.
Is the situation, does it get better in the more this rarefied domain? I mean, generally speaking, is it easier to raise 20 million?
They renegotiate. Because any good VC...
Yeah, they are also looking at growth. If
you take a board along,
they both are the same as yours.
They both are the same. Right? The problem occurs when you change the course. And don't take me along on your journey. So you will understand, and I think any guy coming in early stage will tell you that the direction of the company will change. Either the market or the product or the product mix. It will change.
Worth individuals that are willing to be passive investors into the company. Can you maybe talk a little bit about like how to map your way through like dealing with somebody that really hasn't invested into a company but has a fair amount of wealth through land transactions or something completely different than your business?
So if you can get those investors, my first thing is don't take them. Let me tell you the dynamics of how they are thinking. Okay. Most high net worth individuals in North India have a very low appetite for business risk, because all of them have got used to living off land or rental income. Okay. So that's very unique to this place. Okay, so they may have a lot of capital, but their appetite for business risk is very low. A lot of these guys have done their own math. Okay. Their math is, if I was to buy this building, the valuation increase of this building is 15% year on year, and my yield is 2%. That's one math they've done. Second math they've done is that if I take that land money and I invest in a plot of land in Mullamur, it's a 20% return on my capital year on year. Actually, these guys say that it's going to double every 3 years. That's the math. Okay. The third math is that if I give it to my agriculture intermediary, that guy is going to give me 24% return on capital. So a lot of these HNIs, when you talk to them, will give you capital if you map your return on capital based on these returns. Okay. These guys are very return driven. Okay. So if you map it to these and give a return that's slightly higher than this, and one of the best ways to do it is, like I was telling you earlier, is that 3-4 years out I can IRR you at 25-30%. But then you have to have significant confidence in your business. Why do I say that? Because as you go to investors, everyone will have their own interpretation of your product. They will give you great ideas that they think are great ideas. They may deviate from the market opportunity for you guys. So it's probably the biggest journey in self-belief that you're going to take. And I'll tell you, the toughest thing is when you've gone to 40 investors and they've shaken their heads. You start questioning yourself. Yeah, am I on the right path? And I think once you reach that stage, the idea is not to question yourself. The question is, are you going to the right people? And the companies that did not invest in make very interesting reading. I will tell you the companies that are on that list, and they have the partners' comments why they chose to decline that opportunity. And let me share the names on that list. HP, Apple, Cisco, Google, Yahoo. But they had the honesty to accept it and what they felt was the market opportunity. So it didn't mean that HP did not go raise money, or Cisco didn't raise money, or Apple didn't raise money. They did, all of them did. And Bessemer itself is doing phenomenally well. I mean, they are the only VC firm to be around for upwards of 100 years. Otherwise, most VC firms are flavor of the times. Thank you for sharing. Alright, guys.
Thanks for all what you said. Thanks for all what you said.
Come, I'll introduce you.